Hello there, this is Cookies. I have turn 13 of MA Naba. So let's go ahead and dive into this one. We conducted a number of raids against Bandarlog. And, oh, I forgot to show off the god last turn. I knew I was forgetting something. But yeah, now we sent some throne locations. And let's check out Hubberton. So this is our riskiest raid. And we can see why. A bunch of Tiger Riders show up. So as a reminder, the bless is Fire Res +5, Blur, Blood Surge, True Sight, Larger, and Awareness. And these all synergize together pretty well. I really like it. So Unsurrenderable gives you a lower harassment penalty on the defense, which is good because they don't have the best defense. They're enlarged, which I think penalizes defense just a little bit, but gives them some bonus strength, which you can see in their 22 damage falchion. Also makes them size 4 and size 5. So as a unit, they're size 5. So still 2 to a square, which we see down here. They do have a chance for reincarnation. And they've got True Sight, so they can see through my glamour, so my mirror image on my sacreds isn't going to help. That's good to know. And they're also blurred, so they've got an effective +2 to their defense, because enemies will have a -2 to their attack skill. Unless they have something like Spirit Sight, which I do on my Jinn, but not on many of my units. And then they've got a little bit of Fire Res, which is helpful against me as well. So with Blood Surge here, you can see it's a 25 damage falchion. They get a little bit of reinvigoration. They're up to 17 attack skill, so very killy with their one falchion, but they also have the Bite and Claw from the Tiger, which do a significant amount of damage as well. Let me find a healthier Tiger. Yeah. And the Tiger has pretty decent attack skills as well. And yeah, I think it's almost 45 HP on the unit as well. Yeah, 44. So pretty chunky and lots of attacks. And still, yeah, decent defense skill on the Rider. So up to 16 now. Remember, they're effectively higher because of Blur. So, yeah, pretty spooky Tiger Riders. And this is a bless that is pretty affordable as well. So you can still get decent scales with this. And because they're on attack rear, they're going to kill my commander. And my little plan of having these guys run away is going to get mostly foiled. So even that guy got killed. So Hubberton does not go well. I think, was that 13? So 300, 400, maybe a little over 400 gold, and not much accomplished. In Plothai, we've got a couple more groups, but this time it's just PD. So we should do pretty okay here. They do manage to kill one camel rider before they rout, though. So I lose about 23 gold here, but I'm going to get some income. And then in Bay Pond, got a little bit more PD. Go ahead and kill that commander. Yep, and they rout. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how these raids did. Now, I lost a little over 400 gold here, but I've traced income from Panuonia for 111. I got 96 here and 73 here. And so For about 425 gold, I've almost paid for all my casualties so far, which is pretty good to be somewhat keeping pace during the war. And then we've got Pythium. All right, so this is he was finishing expansion, and then he rolled straight into Zan. This is Grippa's little legionary troop, hailing from Pythium. So they go ahead and kill that PD. And then we get a number of events. We get some fire gems, some water gems, some nature gems. We get 50 militia and a high priest. Beautiful. And then, we see some cavemen attack Bandarlog. So let's go ahead and see how they do. So we have a number of Mercata archers. They should be pretty effective. They get a pretty lucky morale roll. Cavemen generally have okay morale, even though they're undisciplined, but yeah, so Bandar holds. And he's hired these 87 Mercata archers, so maybe he was expecting this. Alright, so yeah, right here. Alright, so we've done a lot of our work, but we can see all these Tiger Riders here. We still see no signs of Agartha. And we only see this small, pitiful group from Abyssia. So we're not feeling encouraged right now. This is feeling less like a... We don't see any Asphodel movement from Distant Horizon. So we're feeling a little discouraged, but Balin's trying to keep up our spirits. But I'm starting to suspect that he wants me to fight the Sacred Stack, and then he can move in and just probably invade both of us at some point. Like Bandarlog first, and then me. So I'm not super keen on that. So instead of riding into this, where he's going to obviously coalesce in Hubberton, we're going to go ahead and just patrol here. I think I've got enough here, because I moved the stealth contingent into the Prophet. And I think I've got enough here to actually beat this Bandar stack, especially with some additional camel riders heading in. So this is more what the formation looks like. Number of desert warriors and camel riders and different commanders. So should be a pretty decent defense. And then we're going to go ahead and sneak over to the swamp. Maybe we can get a raid in here. In retrospect, should have maybe sent this commander over here to trace income, because it is pretty high income. But we're going to go ahead and trace income here. Just kind of hang out. And I was moving this guy over because I kind of wanted to try out the new raid mechanic. But I might have to go from a friendly province. So then I was kind of wondering if I could deep raid and then pillage, because I wouldn't end up with this anyways. So I was considering doing some of that, taking advantage of the pillage trait. Meanwhile, we're spending our money on a temple this turn. So 3 months away. We finished our hermit Sahir. So sending him into the cap. Sending this guy out for site searching duty. So he's got his retreat script, just in case something happens. Here's our god. It's a dry heat. And he's a fire 3, water 2, earth 4, astral 4. So his big shtick is I wanted to be able to... I went over it a couple of turns ago, but I wanted to be able to teleport earthquake returning on a god. I think it'd be useful against a number of factions, but particularly it would be good against Agartha and Abyssia. Additionally, this guy can also make Rune Smashers, which is a penetration item or booster, so that'd be kind of nice. And he can also do Gifts from Heaven. Lots of different stuff this guy can do. So I'm pretty happy with him, and he comes pre-floating, so he's a decent chassis for the earthquake trap thing. And then I think that's a lot of it. So we're going to go ahead and have these militia that we got from the event go ahead and patrol. In terms of Gripazan, we're keeping tabs on this, but it seems like they're already fighting. And maybe there's some aggression from Zan over here. It does kind of seem like Gripa mostly failed expansion, but he has some land. And he does have a fort under construction here in Carrion, which is pretty far away from his cap. I tend to like to do my first fort 2 away, even though they'll both steal resources from it, but being 2 away means you can reinforce a little bit easier. And if I knew I was going to fight Zan, I'd probably like build it down here in like Forest of Long Night. Like force Zan to come all the way down here, or I can keep sending up reinforcements. Something like that. In terms of recruitment, we're picking up our first Malika. We got some money this turn. Getting a full boat of Sacreds. And I think that's most of it. I'm not sure if I covered it a couple of turns ago, but I did sign Naps with Grippa and Zan. And I think I was just forgetting to send one to Pyrene. Pyrene's played by the False God. We've done a previous Disciples game together, and I played in his False Pretender series as Satis, where I died. And I Hydra'd for Hinam. So you can check that series out. He's still casting it, so be on the lookout for some of those turns. It's a pretty fun game. I think people will enjoy it, even if it is Dominions 5. There's probably some good lessons in it for Dominion 6 as well. And yeah, I think that's most of it. So we're trying to get out of this war quickly so I can start preparing, because False God and we've been talking about attacking Snuggles, who's playing Jotunheim. And that would accomplish a couple of things. It would get rid of some of this border gore. I really want this riverside land that he cut me off from. False God, I think, wants some of this. Especially a little bit more coverage around this throne, perhaps. And also, attacking Jotunheim would potentially get a Elwinter caster off the board. So we're both heat nations. We have very little interest in seeing, like, I tanked my heat scales, but I'm still kind of a heat nation. So we have very little interest in seeing Elwinter come up and make everything cold. It just wouldn't do well. A lot of my summons have firepower, so they get more powerful in the heat. So no interest in having that affect them. And I do have magic scales, because a lot of them are also have magic power. So they'll get some stat buffs, but with the tanking the heat was mostly to preserve my cat population. So kind of the idea there. But yeah, I think neither of us want to see a big cold power next to us. Vanarus, I don't think is as bad. They're not going to cast Elwinter on you. So war with them would be painful. It's played by Zan. He's a really good player. So I'm pretty happy to stay peaceful with Zan. We have a good border. We might have shared interests in controlling Asphodel and the Hellblessed Abyssia. But yeah, like Jotunheim and Elwinter, yuck. It's kind of my feelings. I'm hoping maybe we can go in there and 2v1 him and kind of like take care of that threat, and then I don't know, find out what we're doing with Abyssia, or if I'm just gonna keep helping Ballin expand all over the map. So, in terms of research, we're still chasing Evo 5, at least for now. And yeah, I think that's most of it. So I'll go ahead and jump over to turn 15. I'm getting more and more concerned, though, because I'm not seeing any movement out of Abyssia. So I feel like I'm getting set up. And I've still seen no fighting from Agartha either. So I've heard rumors of battles, but I haven't seen any battles. All right. So I'll go ahead and see you in turn 15. Have a good one.